All right, cool. How you feeling?
Accelerated.
We use about 1,000 feet of sky on that loop. From the very bottom of it, about 3 Gs on the pull-up. We go from the top of the green arc, our maximum normal speed of 185 miles an hour, and then we go just below stall speed as we coast over the top at about 60 miles an hour.
Man, I thought it felt like we really slowed down, but it was so much fun.
All right.
God, that was fun.
All right, now you want to try the loop?
Okay.
All right, so 185 miles an hour. So go ahead and push the nose down, let the speed come up. All right, good. Just hold that. The speed's coming. There's 150. 170. Hold the nose down. Push it to keep pushing the nose down. We'll get our speed quicker. There's 180. And there's our 185. All right, now pull back on the stick. Pull back a little harder, a little harder. There we go, just like that. Now we look to the wingtip. Not too hard, not too hard. Over the top. Good, now we're just gonna look straight ahead. Hold the stick back, the G's will build back up. Keep holding it back, and there we are.
Now can we try roll down with the speed?
There you got the speed. Got to get the nose up a little bit higher.
Oh no!
Keep rolling though, keep rolling, keep rolling. We're already started.
Yes! Now John, can you do a roll out at the top of a loop?
Sure, let's climb up some altitude.
Whoa, that takes a little bit to get used to, though, don't it?
Good. Yeah, now when we do the rolls, we want to have the nose up about 30 degrees.
Okay.
And the reason is because we don't have an inverted fuel or oil system on the airplane. So if we do negative Gs, the engine will quit and we also lose oil pressure, which means we lose control of the propeller as well.
Oh no, okay.
And so we keep all of our Gs positive. If ever we feel light in the seat, like we're starting to float, we pull back on the stick to bring the Gs back up to make our motor happy.
Okay.
If we do get negative, it's not a big deal. I just have to pull the power back to idle, and then we build up our speed, and then once the engine gets resettled, then I can bring the power back in. So it's not a big deal at all. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just something we have to watch for and that's actually most aerobatic airplanes are that way. The competition ones are designed with fuel injection, so they run upside down, and they have inverted oil systems so that they can run full oil pressure while the engine is inverted. But they didn't have that technology when this airplane was designed and built.
How do you get enough speed then at the top to roll over there?
We're just going to do a real slow, graceful roll. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an Immelman, and then I'm going to, which will roll us back upright, and then I'll roll back inverted and do a split S out the backside.
Yes, that sounds like a hoot.
So we'll climb back up to 6,500, maybe 7,000 feet or so.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah, this is such a fantastic airplane for aerobatics because it's so nice and graceful with all that wing out there and the 600 horsepower up in the nose. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready, you're going to do it.
Okay, I've got the airplane. All right, here we go. Nose coming down. Since we're starting with a loop, we need 185 miles an hour. All right, now we do our 3G pull. And here we go, up and over the top.
Holy cats, that happened fast.
Yeah. And there we go. Basically, an Immelman with a split S.
Oh, that was cool.
Without an inverted fuel system, it's a little hard to get a nice clean roll off the top. There we go. Now, have you ever heard of a Cuban 8?
Heard of it, never done it.
Okay, I'll demonstrate one of those here for you. A Cuban 8 is going, there's two ways to do it, the Cuban and the reverse Cuban. I'll show you both of them.
Oh boy.
The Cuban starts with a half or 3/4 of a loop, and then we roll the airplane back upright. we come down, we do another 3/4 loop and another half roll. And so from the ground, it looks like we drew a big figure 8 in the sky. And then the reverse Cuban, we start with the half roll and then the 3/4 loop.
Okay.
So we'll just gain a little bit of altitude here.
So you're going to go down, we're going to go up, get to the top, we're going to roll
That's right.
right again, and then dive down and come up
Exactly
again?
right.
Okay.
All right, this looks like a good heading right here. Since we're starting with a loop, I got to start with 185. There's our 185. So here we go, 3/4 of a loop up and over the top. We'll bring the nose down to about a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to roll the airplane back upright. And then we're going to do the same thing again. 185. 3G pull.
Man.
45-degree downline. And we roll the airplane back up.
How did you learn aerobatics, John?
I used to teach aerobatics in a super decathlon out in Colorado.
Wow!
So it was one of those things I went up with some other instructors and learned the basics and then worked on that. The basics, we've done all of them but one. There's 3 basic positive G maneuvers. Here, I'll show you the third one, and then we'll do the reverse Cuban 8. We did the aileron roll, we did the loop, and then the other one is the barrel roll. So here, I'll show you that. It's another roll, so we only need 175, and basically what I'm going to do is combine the loop and the roll together, and it'll make us go through the sky like in a giant corkscrew. So I'll bring the nose up. After it starts coming up, I'm going to start rolling the airplane. So we've changed our heading now about 90 degrees from where we started through the inverted. Nose will come back down, and she'll come right back up to where we started. That's the barrel roll. Like I said, we went through the sky kind of like in the shape of a corkscrew or rolling inside of a barrel.
Do it again, that was kind of fun.
What's that?
Do it again, that was kind of fun.
Okay, here, we'll do one to the right. So if you see those clouds off to the right, that's where our nose will be while we're upside down. There we are, right on that point.
Oh, man.
And we come right back up where we started. So that's the barrel roll.
Oh, I could ride with you all day, Sean.
Best roller coaster ever, right?
Yeah, and you do it so nice. I never would have dreamed it would be so sweet to do aerobatics.
Well, this airplane is it. You know, you do it like in even the decathlon, but like a pit special or a Sukhoi or an extra. It's much harsher. You pull a lot more G's. You really bang the airplane around quite a bit more.
Is that just to get it to do what you mean, or?
Well, that's because that's what that airplane is designed for, is competition type aerobatics. This airplane won't do competition type aerobatics.
Oh, but I like these graceful ones better.
Right. This is more sport. This is a lot more fun than the competitive type aerobatics. Competitive aerobatics, like for example the loop, you're trying to draw a perfect circle. So the G's really change as you go around and your speed changes, and it's not as graceful and comfortable feeling as the loop that we do isn't perfectly round, but it isn't meant to be either. And we certainly can't see from the airplane whether our loop is round or not.
So now, if we wanted to do a split S and go the other way.
Okay, the split S. Now the important thing is we need to get very slow. Like I was saying before, at the top of the loop we were at about 60 miles an hour. If I loop from any higher speed, it means I'm going to have much, much higher speed on the bottom of the loop. So what we want to do is slow down to about 90, which is where I'm at right now. And then we'll roll the airplane upside down.
This is just so cool.
Stop the roll, and here we go. Okay, now the opposite of that is the Immelman. The Immelman, we do the half loop first. And then we roll the airplane back up right on the top.
You do this so quick and so easy. It's just...
And the Immelman was developed in World War I as a quick way to turn around and get on your opponent's tail.
Okay.
So it was actually the pilot who flew it was Max Immelman. He was a German fighter pilot flying the monoplane Eindecker in World War I.
How did they know, Sean, how slow to do that stuff without tearing the wings off then?
Well, they just practiced. They just experimented, and a lot of them did tear the wings off. And it was the guys who were more analytical about it and cautious and took things slow and, piece at a time who experimented. And those are the guys that pioneered it and lived through it.
I just see now, when you come out of the bottom of that split S, how fast are we?
We're doing 185 miles an hour.
Oh, wow. So we did gain quite a bit.
Yep. So if we had started it from, say, cruise speed of 140, we would come out the bottom somewhere over 250 miles an hour.
So let's say all of a sudden we were lollygagging up here and all of a sudden somebody was right behind us and you wanted to get rid of them, but you were already cruising at high speed. What would you do to?
Well, I could either, first off, this airplane will outturn about anything else in the sky. So I would probably, if I didn't have a lot of speed, I would start with turning.
What's the tightest turn it'll do?
Well, here, let me show you a steep turn. When you're dogfighting another airplane, you have to know what your attributes are and what your opponent's are. In this air, and then also it depends on the speed. If you got a lot of speed, then we could go vertical and try to get above him, and then we own the sky. That's the key, is to get above him. Now a steep turn.
Wow.
See, this airplane will turn right around on a dime. There's not a lot of airplanes that would be able to stay with us. They would be on a much wider arc.
So if he tried to turn with us, he'd be out there somewhere.
Right, and then we could maneuver right around and get behind him. Now, he may have an airplane where he can zoom up and get more altitude, and that's going to be difficult for us to deal with, and then we almost need to try to get him slow and get him behind us, out-turn him, and then we can maneuver in behind him. Now, if we have an airplane that doesn't climb with us, then we're going to take our speed and we're going to pull up vertical and try to get up above him.
Now, could you go up almost to a stall and rudder over?
Yeah, that's called a hammerhead. Now, that's our company policy is we don't do that in this airplane.
What's the, not the hammerhead, but what's the other one where you kind of, just a wing over, isn't it? Where you
yeah, that's the wing over. That's what we did the very first.
Wow, I don't remember. I didn't think wing overs, we kind of went over and...
Well, we were doing more of a turn here.
I'll
show you what I think what you're thinking about more of. Now, the hammerhead, the problem is on the recovery, this airplane doesn't have a whole lot of rudder to make a real, or to get you out of trouble. And so if you blow it, you can get into an inverted spin, which is not a good idea in this airplane.
Now, how is this, Sean, different, though? I mean, when you stop, it's a hammerhead when you more or less
yeah,
stop?
hammerhead, you almost come to a complete stop, and then you rotate the airplane.
Okay, do another one of those deals.
Okay.
So as you're bleeding off coming up, you're starting to...
Right.